So what's up? Derek Smith here, Fire Starter. So today I wanted to talk about what you are as opposed to who you are. So what you are is infinite. What you are is unlimited. What you are is boundless. Who you are is the person, the identity, the ego. And so who you are changes. What you are is changeless. What you are never changes. You're infinite, unlimited potential, infinite energy, spiritual energy, coming through time and space into this body, having this human experience. The trouble is we identify with the human. We identify with who we think we are. And we create a whole belief structure, right, around the identity of who I think I am. And then that gets locked in place. And then things hit that, things don't align with that. And we create good and bad and judgments and all these things around that. And then that's what causes this big friction, this suffering, this internal, the game of like, I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough, or am I being me, you know? But when you can see that that's just the identity, when you see that that's not the real you, it's the you think you are, but the real you, the what you are, this infinite potential energy, this space within, and the awareness, the consciousness that's observing the experience of being human. There's freedom in that. There's liberation in that. There's expansion in that. That's the unknown. It's the growth. It's all of these words I can point to, but really getting into the experience of it, like sitting back in the seat of consciousness, the seat of awareness, and witnessing it, and not being so hooked into the story, not being so hooked into this identity. See, the identity is the mask we wear, right? The identity is like the persona, and persona means mask. It's like a Latin root for mask. So persona is the mask I wear. And the mask I wear changes depending on the situation, how I choose to show up. Am I showing up intentionally in this way, or is it just a compulsive behavior pattern, something I learned as a survival mechanism as a child? Or am I coming from intention and conscious choice and self-authoring my life, being authentic, you know, and choosing to put forth this persona, this identity in this moment? Or am I coming from a place of like, we identify the ego as something that's bad, right? Like the ego is bad. You got to destroy the ego. No, the ego's useful. It has a purpose. Like it's your survival instincts. The trouble is when it's running the show and that's all you see yourself as is this identity. And like coming from this place of being identified as an ego, right? But seeing it for what it is, that it's a useful aspect of being human. That's not a bad thing. It just doesn't need to run the show. It doesn't need to drag me along. You know, I can use different egos for different situations and for different things. And it's just about having this fluency and this being dynamic and being flexible and being able to articulate and being able to communicate and be able to relate. Like the ego has a utility. So it's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's like, is it useful? And is this intentionally how I choose to show up now? Am I living life consciously or am I living it compulsively? Am I coming from a place of an operating system of a 5-year-old wounded child? Or am I coming from this infinite place of potential energy, expanded love, and gratitude? So it's not good, bad, right, or wrong again. It's just like, where am I coming from? So just think about creating space inside. So all transformation requires inner space. You know, stillness, creating space, writing, these things create an opening to allow something new to come in and be expressed through. So in this moment, the greatest thing is trying to happen to and through you. And we think ourselves out of this moment. We think ourselves into a place that we should be or some other experience. So seeing the thinking is not you. Like, I'm not the body, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions. These are all experiences I'm having as the human awareness. Creates an inner space, and it allows in that gap, in the space between the identity of who I think I am and what I truly am, in that inner space allows for a new choice to arise. And in that new choice, I get to choose who I show up as. I get to choose how I show up. I get to choose my language, my conscious communication. I get to choose my response. And that's where all our power lies, is in this moment right now, getting in the space between the who I think I am and anchoring into the what I truly am and taking the driver's seat and sitting in the human spirit, being inspired, the 3 I's, inspiration, intuition, and imagination, coming from that place rather than being driven by instinctual desires like sex, security, and social. Like, those aren't bad, but they'll drag us along. So coming back to this inner space, elevating our awareness to this place of intuition, imagination, and inspiration, and then taking action from that space. That's where liberation is. In this moment, right now, not in the future, you can be as free as you've ever been. You can be totally liberated, totally free, and you can choose your next action. Regardless of what anybody else thinks, regardless of whatever's happening on the outside of your world, you can reframe this moment and become totally free, totally liberated to choose your path, to choose your destiny, to choose your decision, and take conscious control of this human experience. So I hope this is helpful. Go out there today and come from what you are, not who you think you are. Create inner space, create a pause, and sit back deeper in the seat of awareness and choose to rise up. Choose to elevate your awareness and come from inspiration, come from intuition. I love you. Peace.